Hi everyone, welcome back to this week edition of RHO Market Chat. As what we always do, let's recap on what we did last week. And this week I want to talk about some vaccine themes, the Chinese bull market, and how I think this Chinese bull market could continue. And also we want to be watching the US COVID situation. And I want to share with you two very important charts, the Nasdaq and the Tesla. And lastly, today I want to share with you the important economic data that lies ahead this week. All right, so last week I talked about the Shanghai index that the bull run have started, and based on our last plan, the Shanghai index has hit a high of 3625, and that is a 132 point increase, or a 3.7% increase from the 4th of July. And I've gotten bullish on the Shanghai index since the 2nd of July, and it has gone up 6.7% since then. So one of the stocks that I was bullish last week was Geely, and it has made a 23.7% increase since last week. All right, I continue to be bullish on Hong Kong Stock Exchange, and last week it has hit my target of 365, all right, on the trade plan. In fact, it hit a high of 373, and as of today, it has retreated back after hitting my target of 365 to 354, all right? So if it continue to go down at 330, it could be a good time to get into Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And like I said, I'm still bullish on the story of Hong Kong Stock Exchange. I talk about Gang Feng since the 22nd June, and it has gone up 40%. Continue to be bullish on gold, and gold has hit my target of 1792. It has pulled back after hitting 1792. It has pulled back to 1780. The bullish story of gold has not ended. It is just a pullback. 1792 will be revisited again, and I believe in a couple of months' time we could be testing the all-time high at 1923. All right, so these are the two stocks, gold stocks, that I talked about, and it's gone up a lot. And last week I talked about Laboratory of Corp of America, and it has gone up 2%. All right, and the reason why I was bullish about it was because of the resurgence in the number of COVID cases in America, and with this resurgence, more tests is required. So today I want to talk a little bit about the COVID potential vaccine coming from China, and these two pharmaceutical companies are front runner, Fosun Pharma and CanSino Biologics. All right, so Fosun Pharma, a little bit story on it. It has obtained an exclusive license from BioNTech to develop and commercialize vaccine in Greater China. BioNTech has received positive data for vaccines, all right, initial safety and efficacy, and this will likely send a bull signal on Fosun Pharmaceutical share price in the future. And also today we received news, all right, it was announced that the German company BioNTech, which has got Fosun Pharma as a partner, the FDA has approved them going into the next phase of the vaccine test, all right? And so that is clearly a sign that this partnership development in this vaccine could be near. All right, and the other front runner for Chinese vaccine hopeful is CanSino Biologics, all right? So in China, the COVID-19 vaccine developed by CanSino and the Academy of Military Medical Science approved by China Military Central Military Commission for military use on 25th June 2020. In other words, the Chinese military is currently testing this vaccine, all right? And I still believe in the bullish case for China's stock market. Just in the recent publication, the Chinese government said that a healthy Chinese bull market after the pandemic has made Chinese financial market bullish during the past few weeks. And investors and traders took this news that the government is supportive of the market. And the foundation of the Chinese financial market has always been policy driven, right? So that is why I stayed bullish on the current Chinese bull market. I think it has got further to go, but after a massive run, it probably need a little pullback, but every pullback should be seen as an opportunity to get into the Chinese market, all right? And so all these data on fund flow is positive, all right, for the Chinese markets. The northbound flow has recorded increase, southbound flow recorded increase, and with this healthy fund flow from both north and southbound, the bullish sentiment surrounding the Chinese financial markets are unlikely to be short-lived anytime soon, which means it should continue, all right? So on the US front, we've been reading news of resurgence and many states recording new highs in the COVID infections. And yet we are seeing the stock market being disconnected with the current COVID pandemic, and the Wall Street indices are still taking new highs. Will Wall Street one day come to be aligned, all right, with the market or the pandemic situation? We don't know, but what I think we should be looking out for is looking at the death rate, right? So far, what you have seen is that there's a divergence between the rate of COVID infection and the death rate, right? So there's a death rate has been slowing while the rate of COVID infection has been increasing, all right? So what is important for investors and traders is be watching the death rate, all right? So if the death rate starts increasing, it probably will make the White House or Donald Trump or force them now to rethink about the policy of reopening, and then we could then have the possibility of the US economy shutting down again, and that will not be good for the stock market, all right? So one chart that I think is important, which is catching my attention, is the Nasdaq chart, all right? So this Nasdaq chart, right, in history, we could see right here, back in 2019 April, we have a divergence signals. So what is the divergence signals? All right, Nasdaq, all right, hit the resistance on this upper end of the trend line channel, okay? But then, but before that, right, before it hits the resistance on the upper end of the trend line channel, we saw a divergence in the RSI. So the RSI was going down, the price was going up. So there was a divergence, and the divergence came before the big correction. And so we are seeing the same thing, right, that happened, the same indicator that happened before the February crashed, okay? So in February, we had like, the Wall Street indices falling between 30 to 38%. And the same signal happened. We had RSI and price divergence happening before the crash. And this is what we are seeing now, right? We have RSI and price divergence happening will that be a crash coming? I think we could have, if there's no crash, we should even have a snapback, all right, coming for Nasdaq. And so expect a snapback on the cuts, all right, for Nasdaq. So we could see a serious correction on Nasdaq coming soon, all right? And while I was, just looking at the Nasdaq chart, and it's showing a sign of topping out. Here, just last night, I witnessed the price action of Tesla, and this Tesla price action last night that I witnessed is something that is quite similar to what happened in February, all right? February 2020, before we had the Tesla crashed, all right? In February 2020, we had Tesla coming down from 980 all the way back to 300 levels. And so this time round, we are seeing the same indicator, a super high volume bar, which shows that a lot of greed has entered the market here. All right, so here also, all right, we are seeing a very high volume bar, and then on the same day, Tesla closed low. So on the short term, Tesla price should be kept at 1798. It could go back to test the 17898 level, but I think we could expect a very hefty correction coming for Tesla, all right? So the last time when Tesla had this price action, it lasted about another 2 weeks, right, before we saw the real meltdown. So question is, when will this meltdown come for Tesla, or this very significant correction that will come for Tesla? I think it'll be soon. So it's important for us to be watching out for this. Okay, so this is two charts which I see red flags, and let me just share with you some of the economic data that is in the week ahead. So this week just started, and we are witnessing, at the start of the week, the start of a corporate reporting earnings seasons, and we just had the banks kicking off with the corporate earnings. Okay, but then what's important to be watching this week, all right, is the Thursday, the Chinese GDP, all right, the jobless claim, and also the US monthly retail report. Okay, so this Thursday, we could see some action or some very wild volatility in the stock market. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this week's session, and I see you in the next week's market chat. Bye.